Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to dive deep into the present participle. We're going to completely transform it from a dry, boring grammatical rule into a versatile, shape-shifting tool that will literally elevate your writing the minute you start using it. Look, if you write emails, essays, reports, whatever it is, you're already using this form constantly. But truly understanding how it functions under the hood, that is exactly what separates a good writer from a genuinely great one. So let's unlock its secrets together, right now. Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap for today. We're going to meet the present participle, master those spelling rules, explore its role as a grammatical shapeshifter, distinguish it from gerunds, tackle advanced participle clauses, and finally, learn how to avoid those hilarious dangling modifiers. All right, Section 1. Meet the present participle. To start, we really need to uncover where this grammatical shapeshifter actually comes from. The word participle actually derives from classical Latin. It comes from the word participium, which translates directly to a sharing or partaking. And honestly, that is absolutely the perfect name for it because a participle literally shares the characteristics of both verbs and adjectives. It's a non-finite verb form that just decides to dress up in a disguise and do the job of another part of speech entirely. The legendary author Terry Pratchett once wrote, "Always be wary of any helpful item that weighs less than its operating manual." It's a great line, but I want you to look closely at the word operating. It clearly comes from the base verb to operate, right? But here, wearing its ing disguise, it acts entirely as a descriptive adjective, modifying the noun manual. It partakes in being a verb, sure, but it completely functions as an adjective. By the way, quick side note, if English grammar ever stresses you out, just remember this absolutely wild fact. The Lithuanian language has 14 different participle forms of the verb. 14! Some are inflected by tense, some by gender, and some by case. So when we're just dealing with our standard ing and ed endings in modern English, we actually have it pretty easy. We should definitely be grateful. Moving right along, Section 2, spelling the ing form. So, let's open up the spelling playbook. While you normally just add ing to a verb, turning drink into drinking, the consonant-vowel-consonant rule, or CBC rule, makes things just slightly trickier. For words like swim, you absolutely must double that final consonant to make swimming with two M's. But hey, this is English, it loves exceptions. You never double W, Y, or X, so play is simply playing with a single Y. And finally, if the stress of the word is on the first syllable, like visit, don't double the consonant. It's just visiting with one T. Now, if you follow these 3 simple steps for tricky word endings, you're going to avoid the most frequent spelling mistakes that drive editors crazy. Step 1, if a word ends in a silent E, drop it completely before adding ing. Drive becomes driving without the E. Step 2, if the verb ends in IE, you actually drop both letters, swap them for a Y, and then add your ending. So lie becomes lying, spelled Lying. And step 3, if a word ends in a C, like picnic, you have to sneak a K in there before the ing to maintain that hard C sound. So picnic becomes picnicking with a K. Okay, Section 3, the grammatical shapeshifter. Now that we've got the spelling locked down, let's watch this shapeshifter in action. Whether it's building continuous tenses, modifying nouns as a pure adjective, or following a sensory verb like watch or hear, the present participle is just incredibly flexible. It creates progressive tenses by pairing up with an auxiliary be verb, like I am walking. It can stand completely alone as a modifying adjective, like a flourishing business. But here's a super nuanced usage, verbs of perception. If you say, I watched him digging a hole, you're using the participle to emphasize the ongoing, continuous nature of the action you observed. It gives the whole sentence this amazing real-time cinematic quality. Let's tackle Section 4, participles versus gerunds. We really have to address the elephant in the room here, gerunds. They are basically the evil twins of present participles. Consider how the exact same ing word functions as a noun in one context, but shifts into a continuous verb action in another. Snowboarding is fun. Here, snowboarding is a gerund. It's a noun. It is the subject of the sentence itself. But then look at he is snowboarding. Now it's a present participle forming a continuous tense. The famous linguist Noam Chomsky once pointed out how this identical morphology can cause serious ambiguity. He used the sentence, flying planes can be dangerous, right? If flying is a gerund, it means the act of flying a plane is dangerous. But if flying is an adjectival participle, it means planes that are currently up in the air are dangerous. Context is literally everything. Moving into higher gear, Section 5, Advanced Participle Clauses. Using an ing phrase right at the start of a sentence is a formal, highly efficient way to give background information without writing overly long, clunky sentences. Instead of saying something like, when she opened her eyes, the baby began to cry, you can just seamlessly say, opening her eyes, the baby began to cry. Or instead of, because he didn't want to wake her, Steve left quietly, you just use the negative participle. Not wanting to wake her, Steve left quietly. It creates such a smooth, sophisticated flow. Doing textbook rewrite exercises is honestly the fastest way to turn clunky conjunctions like because or since into sleek professional participle clauses. It challenges you to compress information. As I grabbed Dawn by the arm, I said, suddenly becomes grabbing Dawn by the arm, I said. This is a technique used constantly in formal writing and journalism to keep the pacing brisk and engaging for the reader. And finally, Section 6, Avoiding Dangling Modifiers. We're ending on a really practical, high-stakes note here. When we use these front-loaded participle clauses, we must absolutely ask ourselves one question to ensure our sentences aren't creating unintentional comedy. Who is actually doing the action? The fundamental rule is that a fronted participle phrase must modify the noun that immediately follows the comma. Let's see what happens when things go horribly wrong. Demonstrating level-headedness in all business dealings, customers routinely offer positive feedback on Matt. In this flawed sentence, the grammar implies that the customers are the ones demonstrating level-headedness, completely missing the intended target, which is Matt. Because customers is the noun sitting right next to the comma, the participle modifier automatically attaches to them. This, my friends, is a classic dangling modifier. But by simply placing our subject, Mad, immediately after the comma, we firmly attach the modifier and instantly elevate the clarity of our writing. Demonstrating level-headedness in all business dealings, Matt routinely receives positive feedback from customers. Boom. It says exactly the same thing, but grammatically, the ing phrase now perfectly describes Matt. It's a tiny structural shift, but it has massive implications for your credibility as a writer. So, I want to leave you with this final, slightly provocative thought. Are your modifiers firmly attached? Or are you unknowingly leaving your participles to just dangle in the wind? The very next time you write an email, a report, or an essay, I challenge you to wield the present participle shapeshifter like an absolute pro. Use it to build dynamic action, create advanced clauses, and for the love of grammar, always double-check exactly who or what is performing your action. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep writing, keep learning, and I will catch you next time.